Comes all the way back, I guess, 90-something yard drive there at the end to beat Duke. Andre Estime gets the late carry with 32 seconds left. Whatever.
I'm just trying to help you.
I always say his name wrong. You can tell me 1,000 times. I continue to say it wrong. Estime had 81 yards, 2 touchdowns. Here's the thing, Joe. Sam Hartman, 15 of 30 for 222 yards. They came out, Notre Dame did, very aggressively. I was really surprised. That's the second game in a row that Mitchell Evans has looked like just an outright beast at tight end. Look, man, when you have tough games like this, you go on the road and you win. But, man, I still think that Notre Dame has a problem offensively. When they cannot run the football effectively, I just don't know if they either have the skill position players or if they have the offensive play calling that can, like, Joe, because here's the truth. I know that they held Ohio State to 17 points. I know that they held Duke to 13 points. The problem that I have is that there's going to be games on your schedule that's not going to happen for. And I know that USC down the road, their defense sucks. We'll talk about them. But man, you got to be able to find some better things offensively. This is back-to-back weeks that I feel like offensively you're a little anemic, man.
Okay, so first of all, yes, the criticism is justified, but they showed up in this game, and it was, unbeknownst to most people, we didn't find out until the commentators brought it up that multiple starters at the receiver position were out. I'm not giving him a pass, though. I to be blatantly honest with you, which is why I hate, in a way, agreeing with you, because it's not their fault that they only scored 21 points and they had so much trouble throwing the football, and there were so many downs where Hartman was just standing in the pocket and couldn't find anyone getting open. I am giving him a little bit of an excuse, but it's a problem that there's no depth when Jaden Greathouse and all those other guys, when there's a couple people out, when there's even just one receiver out of the game, but one of your top options.
Freshman, though, you should be able to have the depth. If him being out, that you should have dudes there.
That's what I'm getting at here, is that it's very concerning if they go down the rest of the season and they have a game where other guys are out, that they don't have enough options to turn to, that the offense doesn't just take a small step back. They are completely useless. They can't throw the ball when you're down a guy. That's a problem. Their lack of depth is going to hurt them. I think I'm starting to take a step backward on, I think that they could still be a playoff team. I'm slowly getting convinced that they're not going to reach it, because they're going to lose a game down the line, and it's going to be because they struggle to throw the football. I will say what bugged the shit out of me with Jared Parker is the beginning of the game, they were really aggressive. They were really, really aggressive. They took some shots. There was one that they didn't connect on. There was one that they did. They go with the fake punt. They were being really aggressive. And then the rest of the game, they just said, nope, we're not doing it anymore. We're going to go back to what we were doing. We're going to try and run the ball up the middle and not pick up any yards. We're going to get stopped in the backfield or at the line of scrimmage, and we're not going to take any shots. And a lot of the route concepts weren't aggressive. And they were up 10-0 at one point. To not continue to go after them when they had the opportunity to do so is concerning. Parker has shown some good stuff. He just needs to be more consistent. And it's all because of the result of how effed up the offensive coordinator search was. I don't want to go back to that conversation, but they have to keep being aggressive.
You have to have, though.
Yes. But my point here is they have to go back to being aggressive. I don't know why they did it for one isolated drive and then just stopped. It was so stupid that they did that.
I'm going to ask you a question that you're not going to like.
You usually do. So what's the question?
Is this offensive line as good as everybody keeps telling me they are?
Yes, it is. They faced a really good front seven and a very veteran front seven.
And
they sent pressure.
How many of those dudes who play in the league?
They sent at least I'm blanking on the one kid's name. One of the kids will. I think it's Carter.
So one NFL dude on that defense.
They sent so much pressure on every single down because they had nothing to lose, like we talked about earlier.
That doesn't stop, though, Joe, in run blocking schemes and zone blocking schemes. That does not stop you not getting a push. They were not getting pushes. You went 3 of 15 on third down.
I'm not putting any blame on the offensive line.
I'm
not putting any blame on the O-line.
It's not as good as it's not as great of an O. Joe Alt is the best left tackle in the game. I will give you that. I'm not disputing that. You got a problem on that right side of the offensive line, though. I watched that game today, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, they're going right at the right guard all night long. Let me see that throw.
Elko is an aggressive defensive coordinator, and he's going to do whatever he wants, or he's an aggressive head coach, and defensively their play calling is going to do whatever the hell they want once they realize there might be a sliver of an exposure. Okay. So that's what they did in this game. What also doesn't help, and it all goes in line with the play calling and the decision-making, when they're sending that much pressure for them not to call any screens, I put that on the play calling decision-making. I don't put that on the offensive line. There was no alleviation. There was no decision-making to alleviate any of that pressure. It just kept coming and getting worse.
And Joe, against an offense in Duke that's not, outside of Riley Leonard, they're not that great. You know what else is a little concerning? I did think that front seven got pushed around late in that game. Joe, there are times that I look at that game like, God, dog, those running lanes are open. You can't, I promise you can't do that against USC. I know that USC's defense is trash water. I get it. You cannot do that against USC. I really do question if they can stop them.
USC doesn't score more than 30 points on the defense.
I told you about Ben Morrison. Joe, he got shook multiple times out in space. He got put. You want to see the film? Do you want to see the film? Because I got
him as a Are you talking about him as a tackler?
Yeah, you're talking about 230-pound back. He went in with the
He's not a great tackler, but he's a corner.
Little Marshall Falk juke move. You remember on Madden when you had to play the training camp?
It's not his job to defend the run. That's not his priority.
It's everybody's job to defend the run.
It obviously is, Blake, but I'm not worried about Ben Morrison. They eventually, the attrition of them having a quarterback and a running back that they could scheme in the run game, and the way that they were effectively using both of them is why they were able to move the ball. I wouldn't necessarily go out of the way to say that it was them getting manhandled on those final drives. They weren't getting pushed around that badly. It was the fact that there was now this threat that they couldn't figure out how to stop of Riley Leonard keeping the ball, and they were all flooding one way or the other. They are either flooding in the direction of Leonard or to stop the run game going to the running back. So they were out of position. That was not a matter of them getting pushed around. They're going to be fine when they play other games that have less dynamic quarterbacks that they're going to be facing.
Here's something that I did think was concerning, and I think you know where I'm going here. I know that you were 3 for 3 on fourth down, and I got to give Marcus Freeman credit. The penalties, though, 12 penalties for 70 yards. I'm not used to seeing that out of another.
They made a lot of mistakes.
A lot of mistakes. You know what's really concerning, though? I will concede everything you just said. Like, I will concede all of it. You know what I'm not going to concede?
Okay.
Horrible play calling on third down.
Yeah.
Horrible play calling on third down. 3 of 15 on third down, man. Like, you cannot do that down the stretch. I will admit that this Notre Dame team is good. Like, they're a really, really good football team. But when critical downs, if you do not win those, it's going to be it will be a long night for you. Here's what I don't get too, Joe.
Okay.
Why are you taking the ball out of Sam Hartman or Estime's hands on third downs?
In what way are you saying? Like, why aren't they throwing him the ball? Is that
meaning like there's two runs that the let me look at this kid's name because I always mess.
Jeremiah Love or Payne? I
think it was Payne. Payne had like 3 rushes. 2 of them comes on third downs. Jeremiah Love, okay, did have 8.8 yards per carry, but like I mean,
it was because, and I actually don't have too much. I'm not too worried about that because they were trying to get Estime going in the fashion that he's been the most successful, which is between the tackles, downhill. That stuff wasn't opening up. So they were trying to go with the smaller, more explosive, space-eating running back. So I'm not too worried about that decision. It's a fair question, but I'm not totally worried about the decision. My final thought on this, I think that Notre Dame is still really good. Defensively, they can stack up with any offense in the country, and I think that they've proven that going up against teams.
even Washington?
Yeah, I mean, they have shown. Wait. Riley Leonard had single-handedly beat Clemson the way that he played. Riley Leonard is a really good at.
Single-handedly beat you.
Riley Leonard, exactly, and they still took him out of the passing game. They completely removed that facet of his game.
They can't throw anyway.
Yes, he can. He's going to be a first-round pick. I'm telling you that right now. Riley Leonard is a very good quarterback. He's a very good thrower of the football. Very good, very good passer. Very talented player.
I'm not. Stop.
I've done the film eval. The guy is really freaking good.
Stop.
What I'm getting at is that Notre Dame's defense is good enough to match up with most offenses, if not all the offenses in the country. They have shown an ability to do that the way that they played against Marvin Harrison and Emeka Ibuka and the Ohio State offense that was supposed to hang a bunch of points on them. But their offense is going to cost them at a certain point this year. It's going to.
Well, yes, they will. But